homeless, living in my vehicle. I had a run-in with 3 different police officers in the same day. Probably just by the grace of God, I didn't go to jail or prison. I made the decision to get some help, and so I liquidated everything I had, any savings I had, borrowed some money, and got my truck and came 1,600 miles. I've tried to stop on my own on numerous occasions, be it for my family or for work, but that never did work out that way. I came out to Southern California 2 years ago and went to a treatment center, and that worked for a while, but I've got 30 years of abuse and addiction, so that didn't last very long. I did get divorced, although my wife and I have tried to reconciliate. We have custody of our granddaughter, who's the love of my life, and I've hurt them both by my actions and the way I was living, and that's a terrible thing. I was at the end of the road. It certainly was. That treatment center was the last house on the street. I have some friends here in Los Angeles, and we had a long breakfast, and my friends knew of MusiCares and made some calls, and over a long breakfast, I had some coffee. I was still sobering up from that morning, and so we got up to go about our day, I guess, and before we had even left the restaurant, he'd gotten a call back from MusiCares saying to go to detox and get me there right away. So in between the call and me going to detox was maybe an hour, maybe 1 hour. So it was just that quick, and I couldn't believe it. I was really excited, very thankful, because the care that I've gotten in that treatment center, because of MusiCares, those are just the greatest people, and it's saved my life.
Being the age that my wife and I are, the C word to us is a death sentence. Back in our day, when somebody had cancer, it was, what kind of flowers do you want? It's not that way anymore. But still, when you're sitting in a chair and a doctor says you've got stage 4 throat cancer, hey, 4, based on a scale of 1 to 10, that's not bad. Well, there's no stage 5.
I really did not think that was going to be the diagnosis. I thought maybe at most it was a polyps or something, like, that they were just going to take off. It was nothing. And he said, come on. And I got up. I said, well, what is it? He said, it's cancer. And I made a total fool of myself. I wept really hard. I wanted to run down the corridor away from people, and I was just crying and crying. I said, say something. I said, what are you thinking? He said, it's a bad day for cancer. And I laughed.
And I have to thank, real quick, Sylvester Stallone, because when I was really sick, they were doing a Rocky marathon on Spike, and it was at the part of the movie when he said, I ain't going down no more. And I was so sick, I was lying in bed, and I said, I ain't going down no more. And Rocky, God bless you, Rock, it became my mantra, did I not? No matter what. We're gonna stick this in your neck, Mr. Hudson, and we're gonna pull out some blood. That's a needle like this. I ain't going down no more. Stick it in. I went for it. Even though I have very good insurance, and I do. I have Writers Guild insurance, and they're very good. The doctors do not take insurance. You have to pay as you go. Well, pay as you go sounds great because I'll get it back from the insurance company in a year or two. But when you're talking about spending somewhere between $38,000 and $48,000 in a short
A month.
a month, you kind of go, what? You know what? Wait a second. Why? With this insurance thing is killing me. MusiCares stepped in and saved my ass. When somebody out of nowhere helps you, well, everybody knows. What do you do? Thank you?
It's not enough.